Look at this before, look at this after. Can you believe he has lost 120 pounds? Pay attention to this podcast. What's up and welcome to Fight City. You are here with Eric Wallin and Andre Gonzalez. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Or Nino.
Mm-hmm. That's what I go by.
Where did you get the nickname Nino from?
So growing up, because I was like the youngest, and I was the shortest, not anymore.
Right.
As you could tell. So yeah, it was just Nino in Spanish, just Nino.
I don't know Spanish.
Yeah.
So. How tall are you now?
I'm 5'11", almost 6 foot.
Yeah, so you're not the smallest at all.
Yeah, no.
So we're bringing you on today. You have a great story. At your biggest, how big were you?
I got up to 305.
305 pounds.
Yeah.
Wow. And what do you weigh right now?
I'm weighing 185.
305, 185. Do the math for me.
So 120.
120.
Yeah,
120 pounds.
Yeah.
So Nino here has lost 120 pounds. So that's the big reason why I wanted him on today. So tell us the secrets. What sort of diets, what things were you doing that kept you motivated? And give me straight right now, guys. Motivation is the number one factor to losing weight. If you're not motivated, you won't lose it. So first things first, what kept you motivated? What kept you in the grind?
It was, to be honest, it was just like, I was kind of just depressed, and I just didn't like how I looked in the mirror. And then I just wanted to change how I looked. And then so one day I was eating, like, my roommate and my brother were out of town, and we were living all together, and this was back in last April, so yeah, I lost 120 pounds in about a little over a year. Okay. So last April I was just eating. One day I cooked some pasta. And it was a pound of pasta with like fettuccine, like the fettuccine Alfredo.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and I ate the whole pot in one sitting. Yeah, and then like I kind of just felt like disgusted. Kind of like went to the. I was shirtless because no one was home, so I really didn't care.
Yeah.
So I was just I went to the bathroom, saw myself in the mirror, and I was just like kind of just like disgusted on like how much I just ate. So it was just like that night, the same night, we had some frozen chicken. Mm-hmm. I pulled out the chicken out, and then we had frozen veggies. The frozen veggies. We had rice.
Right.
Everyone has rice. So like I just went to the pantry, got everything out, and then I just started. Didn't even look at a recipe. It was we had like it's like a Joule thing, and it's just you put water, drop in. You drop the chicken like in a zip tie bag, and it just cooks.
Wow.
By itself. So it was like the most unseasoned. Like that first week of eating was most unseasoned rice, no pepper, no nothing, chicken.
Food.
So it was no season on anything. Just that whole week I just ate chicken, rice, and veggies, and that's when kind of like I started. I was like lifting weights and I was walking a little bit.
So from that point, when did you get involved with martial arts? Before or after that?
Growing up, because my dad, he did martial arts, you know.
His dad's an instructor here, jiu-jitsu black belt, awesome guy.
Yeah, he's been doing martial arts for all his life. So growing up with him, I did martial arts a little bit, and kind of just didn't really want to. I just did it because my dad told me to, and I was like,
right.
Okay. So then I moved in with my mom, so I stopped. But it took me like a week and a half, 2 weeks, and I was like getting kind of bored of just lifting weights and walking.
Mm-hmm.
So I at my old job there was a basement and there was like a punching bag and those gloves, and I was like, oh, I know a little bit of this. I used to do it. So I was messing around, and like the whole hour I was just punching the bag, and like, you know, kind of just like that hour went by fast, and I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. Yeah. So I talked to my dad that same night. I'm like, hey, yo. Because I was gonna wait until I get to like I dropped 20 pounds to like start doing martial arts because I kind of wanted to get into it, and I ended up just talking to him that same night. I was like, hey, wherever you're going to like work out. This was at the old location still. It's like wherever you work, can I try to like, come by and when you train, let's just try it out and see if I like it. So yeah, he brought me along and then fell in love with it again.
Right. So you said something that I hear a lot of people say this. You said you wanted to lose weight before you started working out. Is that? And this is what I always tell to these people that tell me that. Mm-hmm. And we'll get to where you mentally came up with. But don't stop sinning, then go to church.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Go to church and hope that church will be the motivation to break whatever bad habits
Yeah.
you're in. And I always tell people that with the gym too. Don't tell yourself like, I'm going to get fit first,
Yeah.
then I can go to the gym. No, the gym is a tool to get fit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so what did you end up doing? So you just started training anyway, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I just started doing that, and then people kind of didn't believe me because I was just like, wait, you're working out 5 times a day, working out like an hour and a half, and then dieting, like they saw my meals at work. It was just
Right.
yeah, so like some people didn't like kind of doubted me and stuff. You know, they're like, let's see in 2 weeks, and then like that, because I was like the biggest I could be. That first 2 weeks I dropped like 15 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, and then like so I just kind of like got a bug for it, and then after 20 pounds, and then like so on, and then kind of just after I got to like my whole plan was to get 250 by my 21st birthday, and that would have been last November, and I got 250 by July.
I like how you mentioned earlier, you said like you're on the punching bag and you enjoyed it. And what I wanted to say to that is the best workout is the one you'll do. Without a doubt, the best workout is the one that you will actually go and do. If you like rollerblading, roller skating, playing basketball, go do that. But do it all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's really cool that you were able to find martial arts, get martial arts as a regular workout routine. My next question is, what's your goal with, because you're working out all the time, like you mentioned. How often are you working out, you say?
Now?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm working out like 6 times a week.
6 times a week, multiple hours a day, right?
Yeah, multiple hours, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I call them here at the gym, I have a name for them. They're called gym sluts. They're just here all the time, sparring all the time, grappling all the time. All you got to do is ask them and they're down. And so I don't know where I got the term from or what the term actually means. Maybe you get my drift.
Yeah.
But he's kind of become one of them. And so basically, if this is what you enjoy doing, obviously it's got you here, you're losing weight. What keeps you motivated on your diet? Because that's hard for me. I work out all the time. I don't diet very well.
So what I did is I just kind of like looked for a food that I like, because it's like when people say like you have to cut off, like some people say cut off carbs, cut off this and that. It's like whatever, like like some things work in like low carb, high protein, or like calorie deficit. What worked for me the most is a calorie deficit.
Oh really?
So so what I just did is I again with like Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, and MMA, it's a full body sport. It's a full body like sweat. So it's like what I do is I love pasta, so I just meal prep pasta, turkey meat, and like marinara sauce.
Wow,
and I have that for a week, and I can eat that every day.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And so back to the best workout that you can do is the one that you love. Would you agree that the best diet is the one that you enjoy, the one that works for you?
Yeah, of course.
So a lot of people come to me and they're always like, Eric, what's the best diet? And it's the same like logic. Like the best diet is one that you'll do, and people are like, what about paleo or Atkins or what? And it's like, I don't know, are they the same? It seems like they're close, but whatever the diet is, I'm telling you, I've had so many people come back. Someone just told me that he's on and he's going to be on the podcast maybe next week, an all fish diet. He had a weird name for it. I forget what it was.
A pescatarian diet?
Yes. Say it loud.
Pescatarian diet.
Yes.
That's what it's called.
So, and he'll come on and he'll talk probably next week about how awesome that diet is.
Yeah.
It's not the best diet. It is for him. You know what I mean? And so people always like, what's the best diet? And it's like, look. Google will fill your brain with so much dieting information that you can't
giving up. Yeah, you just give up.
You can't even read it all.
Yeah.
You can't, and all the diets contradict each other. But let me tell you what I promise works. Be smart. Restrict your food in one way, shape, or form. Most people are eating way too much sugar.
Yeah, of course.
Way too many calories, way too many carbs, and they don't work out enough. And so in my mind, I always tell people, restrict something and work more. Take the sugar out, take the carbs, the calories, something, and work more.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you just start to see that weight fall.
Yeah.
I'm not dieting hard, but I've lost, you guys know that I fought, if you've been following the channel. I lost 15 pounds to fight, and then I've maintained the 15 pounds since. I think it's been about 3 or 4 weeks since I fought. So it's like my goal right now is just to maintain. And my favorite diet is fasting, just not eating. Doesn't mean it's the best diet. That's the one that's working for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Any other dieting tips?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I did cut out was sugar. Was like any, because I was, soda, like in like.
How much? Let me ask. Sorry, I'm keep cutting you off,
No, of
but I'm
course, no.
super interested in all this.
No, of course. No, you're
How
good.
much soda were you drinking?
I was drinking like cans. I was like drinking, cause like at my old job, they always had like it was like a little thing they put like chocolate candy and stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, you get a little mixer, so you can mix it, put it in a cup. So I was just eating that, and then they had a soda machine.
Yeah.
Right. So I would just always be getting. There's always a root beer in my hand every hour.
There's this big history. If you guys haven't looked it up, it's a documentary on how humans could really only work like 4 to 6 hours and be productive. And as soon as they introduced coffee breaks, cigarette breaks,
Yeah.
all of a sudden we can now start just banging out 8-hour days,
Yeah.
10-hour days, no problem. And so it reminds me of that phrase, bread and circus. Just keep them fed, keep them entertained, keep them high on whatever their addiction is, whether
Yeah.
it's cigarettes. And most places you can't smoke anymore, but like a truck driver just smoking all day, driving that truck.
Yeah.
It's like, as long as you get your fix, you can just keep going. But it's hard to mentally tackle that and keep going without your fix. And for me, I get addicted to sugar hard.
Yeah.
To where it's like halfway through the day, I'm like, oh, I want to go home and eat some ice cream or something. So that's crazy. So cans of soda pop per day.
Yeah, it was pretty. Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was like, well, it's like probably like a 8-ounce cup, because like it was just it was like a fountain.
Oh, fountain
machine.
drink,
Yeah,
yeah.
fountain drink. So I was just 1 hour I'd be having like, I'd be like standing up, coming back and forth and stuff. And then when I started my diet, that's when I cut all soda. I didn't even have like zero or diet.
Was there any like, did you get headaches or anything?
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Like I would just drink. What helped a lot is I switched that, and I was just drinking a lot of water.
Right.
Like, I was like, it was to the point where it's like, it started like, kind of like half a gallon, and then now I got to like a gallon a day.
Got it. I don't know if you guys followed when I did a bunch of different diets. There was a time I was doing like a different diet every week. Just drinking a gallon of water a day, I lost 5 pounds.
Yeah.
And so I still ate whatever I wanted. I just drank a gallon of water first. And when that gallon of water was so big and full in my belly, I just didn't eat much.
Yeah.
I just didn't eat as much. And so that gallon of water a day. So we've talked about a few diets. I liked how, when I say fasting, I'm not saying intermittent fasting like a lot of people do. I'm talking like just go 2 days, no food.
Yeah.
That's been my favorite diet. 2 days, no food. It's on my calendar. Every Monday, Tuesday, I don't eat any food. And the thing is, I'm not losing any weight, but I'm not gaining any weight. And so it's like, I don't eat any food Monday, Tuesday, and then I literally eat whatever I want the rest of the week.
Yeah.
And I haven't gained a pound.
Yeah.
And so there's my diet. Nino's talked about his diet. We talked about the all seafood diet, gallon a day diet. There's all sorts of diets. And then that's just what we've talked about. Google a diet. I promise most diets work. It's just having that motivation to stay stuck to the diet. Another question I had for you. So you mentioned earlier the motivation was more looks, right? Talk about your motivations. Is it still looks? Is it more than just looks now?
Well, it's just more. I came to a realization that it was not like a lot of motivation. It's more just I just love it. It's like this is my hobby now. So it's like kind of. It was at first it was more just kind of like I'm a guy, so I like girls.
Right.
And a lot of girls didn't really talk to me when I was big because my confidence was really low and stuff. So I just didn't do that often, and now I'm a lot fit and I still don't talk to girls, but that's not important. I just it's just more just I just fell in love with the sport. Just,
right. That's so cool. So we've talked about the motivation. And the thing is, when it's just looks, and that's where, if you ask me, I think MMA makes a lot of sense. And if you're going to pick any one martial art, personally, I would pick jiu-jitsu. But it's the smartest martial art.
Yeah.
Leave a comment. Tell me what martial art you think is the best. Which one people should try out. Personally, I think jiu-jitsu is the smartest martial art. That is one you don't get hit in the head. You get a nice, safe. I did 2 rounds today. I did a bunch of jiu-jitsu rounds today, and I did a bunch of Muay Thai rounds today. After the jiu-jitsu rounds, I was tired, I was sweaty, but I wasn't aching or sore.
Yeah.
After the Muay Thai rounds, I'm feeling my shins right now. Owie, owie, owie. Just bruises all up and down my shins. Got hit in the head a couple times. Got kicked in the stomach a couple times. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's just a little bit more aggressive with more, if you ask me, more injuries. I feel like I can roll all day and I don't get injured much. What martial art are you falling the most in love with?
We have to be Muay Thai.
Muay Thai.
Yeah.
So he's the opposite of me.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, I like Muay Thai, but I think jiu-jitsu is better.
Oh yeah, no. I personally like. I think with jiu-jitsu, it's also like when I see a bunch of podcasts like Joe Rogan, all those guys talk about our martial arts and stuff. When it comes to jiu-jitsu, it helps with like your ego, because it's kind of like an ego breaker.
Yeah.
Like it like kills your ego. It's like you can make someone tap, but then someone's gonna make you tap no matter what. Like someone's gonna be like,
absolutely.
Yeah. So personally, with me, the reason why Muay Thai is so much for me is because that was the first martial art I started doing to cut weight and to lose weight and stuff. So that's why I kind of always that.
And let me tell you, and this is just kind of Eric's opinion on things, I think boxing is the funnest. Like, when I box, I don't care about the clock. I feel like I'm just out there having fun. Because the funnest part of fighting is just punching people in the face. And that's all they do in boxing. You just punch each other in the face. It's the fun part. And then you dig those body shots every once in a while, right? So if you ask me, boxing is the funnest. Jiu-jitsu is actually, if you ask me, the most boring. And the reason I think jiu-jitsu is boring is because there's not a lot of action going on.
Yeah.
And to actually get somebody, take them down, get on top dominant position, maybe knee on belly, and we're jockeying all these awesome positions just so maybe I could later on set up a perfect sub. And so it's like, I don't know, it's just, I guess my mind's not engaged all that much and it's not all that exciting.
Yeah.
And then Muay Thai is a lot like boxing, whereas you take the fun part, punching and kicking.
Yeah.
You're bouncing around, you're moving, you're ducking, you're weaving, you're checking, you're doing all this stuff. And it's like, Muay Thai is fun.
Yeah.
And then people say, well, isn't MMA fun? And if you ask me, Muay Thai and MMA is super stressful.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much going on that you never know when that head kick or that knee or that takedown, it's stressful. So I feel like boxing is fun, jiu-jitsu is boring, but MMA and Muay Thai, there's so many risk of injuries that, like, it's hard for me at 40 years old to be like, oh, I'll just do this every day.
Yeah.
And that's why I fall back on jiu-jitsu is my favorite long-term, just kind of keep going, do it forever. So in jiu-jitsu, since we're talking about jiu-jitsu right now, how many, you got stripes on your belt?
I have 3.
3 stripes.
Yeah.
So 3-stripe white belt. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And you're doing it under your dad.
Yes, correct.
Through Gracie Barra.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, it's actually IBJJF what he's going through.
Are you sure it's not Gracie Barra?
I could be wrong. I could be pretty sure. It could be Gracie Barra though.
We're just to clip some confusion. He's got us registered as an IBJJF gym.
Yeah.
But I think Gracie Barra is
curriculum.
Yes.
It's the curriculum, yes. Gracie Barra, sorry,
okay.
yeah, my bad.
So yes. Just so that's all on record.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you say 3-stripe white belt? Awesome. So is your goal to eventually get a black belt?
Oh, of course.
Absolutely. Even though you like Muay Thai a little bit better.
Yeah. I felt, to be honest, I'm kind of I'm still doing this. It's been like a year since I've been doing martial arts, and eventually when I get a lot better, I want to start competing and like doing Muay Thai, doing jiu-jitsu tournaments. But eventually, I want to like compete in MMA.
So that's your end goal.
That's
compete in MMA. You probably take a Muay Thai fight first, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
and then a couple of jiu-jitsu tournaments as well.
What Muay Thai? What weight class do you want to fight when you do your first Muay Thai?
170. 170.
So you will have gone from 305 to 170.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so I think the big thing that we take away from today's podcast is the fact that, like, Get that sport, get that drive, get that passion that keeps you motivated. And so it's like right now you're 185, but there's no reason we can't go to 170.
Yeah.
You know, by the time you get 170, you're going to be all sorts of shredded.
Yeah.
You're going to have six-pack, veins in your arms. You're going to look fantastic at 170.
Yeah.
You'll be strong. You'll be fast at 170. And so I think that's a good goal is to get to 170. So are we thinking Muay Thai first?
Yeah.
Muay Thai first, then Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah.
So handful of Muay Thai fights, handful of Jiu-Jitsu tournaments,
and then
your first MMA
fight.
fight. I love that plan. I'm telling you, if you're a young fighter, a lot of people want to just jump into MMA. There's nothing wrong with that, but you will notice that most MMA fighters that go really far and do really well in MMA also compete in other martial arts. Typically, they have a deep wrestling, grappling background. A lot of times they're coming from amateur boxing, amateur Muay Thai, and since they have all this other experience, their first fight is not their first fight.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you don't want to take you. If your first MMA fight is your first fight, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Just period. If your MMA fight's your first fight, you're an idiot. Now, a lot of people say, well, my first fight was in a bar. I remember clear as day. A guy was hitting on my girlfriend. That was my first fight. That was not a fight. If it's a bar fight, public fight, it's not a fight. And the reason is they get broken up, cops come, friends jump in. It's not a fight. A fight, if you ask me, punching with a referee, nobody's stopping the action except for the referee. And when he does, it is an absolute win or a loss. And no one's there to save you. And you're either going to go home with a W or you're going to go home with an L. And if you go home with that L, you have to cry yourself to sleep. And there's nobody that can save you from that. And so if you're not punching and if you're not winning or losing officially with the referee and judges, it's not a fight. And so if you disagree, leave a comment. I don't care. But the fact is, street fights, straight up, they're not fights. Sure, call it a street fight. I don't care. It's not a real fight, though. It's just a bunch of punks arguing, pushing each other.
Saying that. They're like, basically, there's competitions, like whoever's stronger. It's like, okay. Yeah, but when it comes to, like, I talked to because my brother, he used to do martial arts too, and he was like, it was like, when it comes to like fighting in the street, it's like once you're in the ring, it's a different level. It's a different mind space.
And that's the other thing. It's fighting someone who is also trained, mentally prepared himself, cut weight, and beating a man your equal. Beat a man your equal with no one stepping in. That's for reals right there. But jumping on a street fight, and the thing is, a lot of guys in street fights, let's just be real, most of them are drunk. And then there's so many variables, chairs, tables, tripping, weapons. There's just so much, like, we all want to be prepared to fight in a street fight, right? No one wants to lose. Losing a street fight would be the worst. You might end up losing your eye or getting killed, stabbed, whatever. So losing a street fight is probably the worst. But at the end of the day, it's not a real fight. It's just a scrap, and there's so much luck involved. There's so much social drama with people looking in, yelling things, ladies hitting you with purses, whatever it is. So there's so much going on in street fights. So that's really cool, man. So we've got Muay Thai first, Jiu-Jitsu second, MMA last. What's your overall goal with martial arts when it's all said and done?
Just take it as far as I can.
Take it as far as you can. And so, how old are you?
I'm 21.
Yeah, for some reason I thought he was older. Young, 21. At 21, like, honestly, the sky is the limit. But I always tell people, set realistic goals and get that first.
Yeah, of course.
Set your next realistic goal. Get that second. I get a lot of guys come in, what do you want to do? We win the UFC championship. And it's like,
have you ever been in it?
Yeah.
An amateur fight at all?
It's possible.
Yeah.
I'm not saying someone has to win it. It's possible someone's going to win it. But all in all, first things first, be the baddest dude at your gym.
Yeah.
Just be the baddest dude at your gym. Make sure that and you've got a great squad.
Yeah,
You've got Carlos, Julian, Tree Brian, who am I leaving out? Alejandro. Who else have we got?
Fernando's really good with his hands.
Fernando, and then the other one that I've Josue.
Yep.
So you guys got a great team, a great squad of guys that. But the thing is, and a lot of the guys that I mentioned are actively currently fighting, have fought within the last few months, have more fights scheduled, and so with Nino here never having fought before, like your goal is to hang with those guys.
Yeah, of course.
And get it to where all those guys can't wait to see you fight because you're right there nipping on their heels every bit as good as they are.
Yeah.
It just so happens you haven't fought yet.
Yep.
And once you get that good, it'll be easy for coaches to be like, yeah, I want to get Nino a fight because he's tearing it up. I can't wait to see him fight.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want if your coaches don't want to get you a fight, you have some soul searching to go through. You have to ask yourself, like, why do they not want me to fight?
Yeah.
And so you're in this position, you're young, you're only 21, you're surrounded by a great team, you have tons of time and health and talent, especially with your dad kind of being a mentor. You got tons of potential.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go as far as we can with it. And the thing is, like I always tell people, like for me, kind of as far as martial arts is concerned, I feel like the last thing I would like to accomplish, I still haven't got my black belt. Like I'm a brown belt right now, if you don't know. So it's like, I got to get that black belt. Son of a gun, I got to get that black belt. And so we just set that next goal, and then we tackle it.
Yeah.
So what's your next step to getting your Muay Thai fight? As I've talked about it and now you think about it.
That's a good question. Just kind of keep on training, and actually and not just say just keep on training because anyone can just keep on training, but
Yeah.
want to show that I can actually do it.
So you're about 15 pounds off, right? So weight is a huge one.
Of course.
Weight's a huge one. And then I would say when you're going with a guy like Julian, well, I mean, Julian's going to watch this, but just straight up tell me, when you and Julian spar, who gets the better of each other?
Him.
He does?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it goes back and forth and stuff. He'll tell me sometimes oh yeah, you whooped me that time and stuff. But most of the time, yeah, it's his level of his movement's insane. Like we kind of started around the same time, and his just levels just.
Julian is deceiving. If you're wondering who Julian is, just go through my fights. I post a lot of our MMA fights and Muay Thai fights and stuff. Julian is in one of the pictures. He's kind of a shorter, chubbier looking dude. He fought this bigger, kind of buff looking dude, and Julian just beat him up.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. But so I've got I think a couple of Julian's fights. So you can scroll through and find one of Julian's fights if you want to see who we're talking about. But the thing about Julian is he's not much to look at. You know, he lost a lot of weight as well.
Yeah.
And so he's still kind of carrying a lot of that baby fat on him. But the thing is, he's training multiple hours a day, 6 days a week, and he's the best way I describe Julian's fight style is he's gangster.
Yeah.
And the fact, he gets hit and he's like, nah, I don't know, get over here.
Yeah.
He wants to hit you back because it ain't right that you hit him and he hasn't had a chance to hit you back yet. He's gangster. And so my recommendation is ride his coattails and really put him as a benchmark of catch up to him. Catch up to him. And then when we start seeing rounds where you and Julian are like, oh, he got the better of you. Oh, crap, now you got the better of him.
Yeah.
And you start trading rounds.
Back and forth, yeah.
That's where it'll be easy for me to find you a fight. Because it's like, oh, Nino can hang with any of these guys. Yeah, just sign him up. Let's get him in there. And so that's where you want to be. And that's kind of what I was saying before is get to where you're the bad dude at your gym and then coach can't wait to get you fights. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, we're fighting.
Yeah.
And we're winning.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Awesome, man. So we've talked about your dieting. In a nutshell, real quick, for people listening, what's your favorite way to diet?
So I do the intermediate fasting as well. So I do you do the fasting, I do the intermediate fasting.
Yeah.
I do it's called 14-10 or 10-14. It's you have I think I always read it wrong. I'm accustomed to it. It's either you have a 14-hour or no, you have a 10-hour window to eat and then a 14-hour not to eat. Yeah.
Got it. So
that includes sleeping, of course, because 24 hours in a day.
So 10 hours to eat, 14, you cannot eat.
Yeah.
And typically when you're not eating, it's going to be 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
So you kind of have like a little 2-hour window to eat.
Yeah.
Is really what it is. Okay. So 14, you cannot eat. 10 hours, you can eat.
Yeah.
Okay. And then is there foods that you see yourself revolving towards?
Like that helps, or
Like the food that like you talked carbs, low carbs. Is there foods that you gravitate towards?
It's like kind of a mixture. I just do good carbs, not just like any like bread or anything. I just do pasta is a little heavier on the carbs.
Right.
But I just do I just mix of a lot of protein and carbs.
Protein and carbs.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so you're working out here at the gym, multiple hours a day, about 6 days a week.
Yep.
Intermittent fasting, 10 hours you're eating, or you can eat, 14 hours you cannot eat. What other advice do you have? Anybody that's getting into fighting or trying to lose weight, thinking about getting into fighting?
For the people who are just trying to lose weight, it's more just like enjoy the process. Don't just want your result the next day, because it's not going to happen. It's going to take months. It can take it can either take months. It can take years. You know. I'm like a lot of people say, like I'm lucky because I'm young, so like cutting it was really easy for me, and stuff. But it was just when I started, to be honest, I'm gonna be honest. Like my diet, like the diet I was doing, because I was just dealing with depression, wasn't the healthiest. So I don't recommend that, of course.
Right.
So just find something that you like to eat, and just enjoy the process. Just enjoy the process every day. And for people who want to get into a fight, you're crazy. Because
if you want to get in a fight, don't do it. You're out of your mind.
Yeah, no, it's if you see other people like fighting or like doing like martial arts, like I see like a bunch of I have a few friends and people I know who are just like, oh, martial arts is so fun, so cool. I just want to do like Muay Thai. I want to do this and that. It's like, the thing is, it's like you don't know what you're getting into until you actually finally get hit in the face.
Yeah. So get over here and get hit in the face.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, good deal, Dino. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And then before one of your fights, we'll bring you back on. We'll talk again, talk about what you've done to get ready for your fight, and then show some, probably even put your fight up on our YouTube channel.
Awesome.
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.